because I said the word Instagram. What? Saying that I was trying to have people get off the platform. No, I wasn't. A client, someone asked me about that platform. Crazy. I can't even say half the words. So if you wanna travel there, I'm on there so that I can read like a normal person. Okay, so I'm getting it, sweetie. Let me just go ahead and. Sometimes it gives question options and on some of mine, and some it doesn't. But I apologize for the inconvenience of. Oh, okay, I'm on there. So. And why do I spell things? Because the allows you to, the recognition of spelling is not, yeah. It is the same one. Actually, if you go to the place that you made the purchase, there's a on it of that place. This is crazy. Yeah. I saw, you know that the band, the TikTok band was supposed to be the 15th, right? And I think it's a bunch of hype because it was already sold. So, oh, and another word I can't say. I guess you guys can type it. I can't say that word. Unless I say TikTok shop. If I say TikTok shop, then yes, they can allow that word 50,000 times. Isn't that crazy? Oh, yes. Okay. All right, sweetheart. Hey guys, I'm going to be on doing a reading now. I'll be back. I would have this on, but you can't say half the words. So I have to log off here so that, you know, I can read for that person. I'll be back, you guys, with more free yes and no. All right, sweetie. Bye. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry to make you hop to a different platform. How unprofessional, but I got flagged for, it says I was in violation for saying the word Instagram because somebody asked me if I had an Instagram and I said, yeah, but I don't use it. And it said, you are manipulating. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. I checked with PayPal and it's not here. So you must have done the like Google Pay, or let me just check my other storefront and then I'll bring it up. Usually I get it right away in my inbox, but there's been a delay. I don't know why, maybe the holidays or something. I know my Venmo had an issue not that long ago. And but all of mine plugs in through my store, so it's easy. Oh, okay, I see. You are Sam Rose, right? Are you Sam Rose? Okay, no problem. Yes, you're right. That one has no space for questions, but the PayPal one does, but that's okay. So how can I help you, sweetheart? This reading is really whatever you want it to be on. It's usually love-based. It starts with a question. I always tell people, don't tell me too much. Let me see what comes up natural. Don't tell me anything at all, but just, you know, you can either see what comes up. And you know, you don't have to say anything, or you can say, okay, I want to know about this, but don't tell me details so that I can see naturally what comes up. Okay. It's called being evidential. So, you know, basically it's just for the client to, I mean, if some people say, you know, that they, once the reading starts, sometimes they want to talk to me and they want to express some things. I don't mind, but just let me see what comes up first, okay? Okay, not a problem, not a problem. So I'm going to tell you the pro and con of, so if you don't say anything at all and the reading comes up with a different matter in your life that maybe you're not aware of, but maybe it's urgent, we won't have time for the love stuff, which is fine because that one is more important. But if the love stuff comes up right away, that should be fine. But we can't switch it after because it's this one is very specific layout. But let's see. Let's see naturally what comes. So Sam Rose. Wow. Whoa. Okay, hang on one second here. Hang on, guys. I'm getting a lot of trolls. Hang on, guys. I'm getting trolls. A lot of trolls. Getting trolls. Sorry, sweetheart. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually usually this stream is very, very calm. So, okay, not a problem. I ignore that stuff, Sam. Is it Sam? Is that what you want me to call you? All right, give me 1 second. I had a bunch of cards fall, okay? And I'll tell you, there's a little warning coming up. Hang on. Okay. Give me 1 second, sweetheart. All right, I'm doing a dice reading. Give me a second. This is an energy check on something. Besides the tarot, I just want to do this. I'll explain in a minute. Okay. There are 3 people that come up in this reading. The first, and sorry I look so terrible. This thing looks so ugly on me and my hair's not done, but I have to cover my head when I read. I always cover, for energy protection, I always cover my head chakra. But I look like crap right now. Anyway, it's late. There's 3 people coming up in this reading, okay? The first one is a person that you have romantic interest in. The second one is a love connection that was very strong. You were involved. There's a history there. The other one, the first one that I mentioned is more of a, it looks new, fresh, like crush, or maybe like it's going to be something. It has more of an aspiration. The second one is the one I would say in the past, maybe not so past, because it does look like there's something still there very strong, but it has more of a history to it, like people being together romantically, and there's some heaviness there. And then there's a very big warning on the third one. And I don't know if you know this person or you're just starting to talk, or this person I would say is more in the shadows, and it's concerning, and we're going to talk about that, okay? Now, I realize that your mind is on whether something's going to work out romantically or not, and if you're going to have something stable, like any woman looking for love, or trying to stabilize love. That's normal. But as the reader, my concern is the well-being of the client. So exactly, I know that you have no idea who that can be. So this lets me know a couple of things. Number one, it seems like you are dating, but what you've had, you're not sure if it's going to work out, and you're kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're trying to see if one becomes something that you really want. But what you're not seeing is also one that poses some kind of danger, okay? And I'm interested in that a lot more than the happy love stuff, because it's a flag in the reading. But I'm still going to cover the other things, okay? So I would say there's 3 main connections, but one of the connections, it seems like you are just, I guess the energy seems like there's just some conversation and heavy bonding, but it doesn't seem like it's more than, it doesn't seem like it's enough in person. That's why it feels very young, very new, the connection. But the one of the shadows kind of like hides with that. So I'm wondering if the third person has a false front, or if you were noticed by dealing with the third one. You see, it's a dice reading, so it's just telling me the cherry picked main idea. We're going to dive in deeper now with the tarot, okay? Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, to be clear, one connection seems like there's real intentions and feelings, but it hasn't escalated to a level yet. The other one seems like it has a heavy already interaction, but it hasn't stabilized and you're not sure. The third one seems like it's a lot of talking, but you don't know them enough. And then the flag was embedded there. So I want to find out if that third is a third and fourth, or that third is 2 in 1. You see? So I got to find out. So here is more or less the beginning of the reading. The first part that this talks about is when 2 people know each other for a while or deeply. Right. This is the past person. So so hold that thought. I do appreciate you telling me little things, but hold that thought just a little bit, sweetie, so that I can get this out. That way, that way, you don't get confused. So that way you don't tell me more than I tell you. But just give me 1 second, okay? Because you know your life very well. No, it's for you. It's to make you comfortable. That's why I do this, for you to know. Because then you'll be like, did I tell her, or did she tell me first? So I'd rather tell you a good portion, first, and then you could tell me whatever you want, all right? That way you're comfortable. The first thing that comes out in this reading is it tells me that there is someone that there's a long history with. So I would use the words to describe this as maybe people that had a friendship first and then became lovers. Maybe it was that they fell in love when they were in school growing up and they were like sweethearts. Maybe it was that they lived in the same neighborhood for a long time and fell in love. You get the picture. There's like this long-term, two lives being shared. Like there's some history with this person that goes deep. It goes very, very deep. So sometimes it's not deep in time. Sometimes it's deep in just the heaviness of the bonding. Some people can bond very well for 5 months. It could seem like 20 years. Some people can live together for 12 years and they're like strangers. So this is the first person that comes up, and they also come up in the past. So this means that this is not gone. But it's certainly not the only thing present. Then the reading took a little turn and then a bunch of cards fell on the floor, which is not normal. So usually that's like hot energy. And there's a warning that came. The first situation that's going on is that there's a liar. There's a thief and a liar. So words I would use to describe the energy of this person is someone who's deceitful, someone who cons, someone who steals, someone who lies. A person that's not to be trusted. And the problem is I also see that there could be some imminent danger, possibly. So I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not trying to, let's back up a little bit. All women, when they are dating, all humans, when they are dating, should take precaution, because we live in a very big world, and not everybody, is a good citizen, is a good Samaritan. I think women, for the most part, have to be extremely street smart. And even if you go have coffee with someone, tell your loved ones, find your location, or tell them where you're going to be, or take a photo of the coffee shop, or have them be able to Life 360 you, or I'm not joking. The women are being followed in broad daylight in stores. This is the holidays. The crime rate is crazy. And the economy, when it takes a dip, people are even more, yeah. So again, not trying to frighten you, but there's something very misleading about this person. Let's talk about some of the things and themes of this energy. Some of the possible themes in this energy are that maybe a person has a predisposition to be violent. Maybe they have like anger issues. Maybe they have something, where out of nowhere they can just be more aggressive. So there's something mixed with a liar. That just screams possible SA. So I don't like that energy, and it's not okay. So that means that there's someone that you're dealing with. Maybe there's a lot of good guys, but there's someone that you're dealing with that you have to be careful. Okay? And that's not okay. That's oh boy, that's definitely not okay. Because that's just the your home is your most close space, all right? Now, give me 1 second and let me tell you. Yes, it is that person. Is your conversation with me all right? Or could they be, do you want me to check if they're listening or not? Because we don't want that. We want it discreet. I mean, these are recorded, but, but what I'm saying is like, Okay. Okay, and there's no way, let me ask you, I could check with Spirit if you need me to, if you're not sure, but you would know because you know your routine and you know them. Do you feel that because the reading is recorded and your photo and name, I mean, I don't really see the photo too well, I just see that you have sunglasses. But do you feel that they can look at where you get readings and stuff? Do you feel that they can be, so in other words, when I start talking about things about them, is it for safety? Do you need this private? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, could they be snooping on your stuff? Because this is a very shady character. Okay, as long as you're comfortable, I just had to check, you know? Okay, not a problem. Good, that's a good thing. All right, give me 1 second. Oh, wait, I gotta do this part. All right, so the reading is showing me that the connection that you have slash had that was very, the one that I said I think was number 2, where there was like, there's a history. I could tell that you guys were very involved. Maybe you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out because you don't know where it's going, but there was some deep stuff there. It's still a considerable love connection. Maybe like, I think you described them as the person in your past. That person, it shows that the connection of that relationship was interrupted by the man you live with. So I don't understand how that comes together. I don't know your life, but the reading is showing me that there was, okay, so that there was a disruption between you and the past love guy with the person you live with. So that's the first thing I see. The second thing I see is that you were involved with this person at some point that you live with. And now I have to talk about the situation with this person. Okay. Not the past love guy, the one you live with now, right? I'm not sure. Okay. So let's talk about the one you live with now, which I'm sure you're thinking, what? I don't want a reading on that idiot. But this is where the energy is going. And there's some stuff you need to understand. Okay. So I'm going to check on the 2 other connections. Hang on 1 second. So there's a lot of trolls, you know. Yeah. There's a lot of trolls and stuff. Just ignore the trolls. People only have power when you give it to them. I don't pay attention to people like that. Okay, so let's focus on so one thing that you are probably aware of is that this person, the one you live with, they seem very aware and intuitive with what you do. Oh, okay, Richie's the past one, and you're giving me the names. I'm sorry. And what'd you say, Sean? Okay, so I'm bad with names, so I hope I don't mix them up. So the Sean, I believe, the one. Okay. So the one that you live with, what I'm seeing here is that number one, at one point, he felt that it was destiny that you ended up together. So maybe that was in his mind. I don't know if you felt that way, but that's at one point how he felt. Another thing too is that he very easily is kind of like penetrates your mind space. So this is a person that is very in tune with what you feel or think. They're nosy, but there's a spiritual something to it, which is difficult. So it's very probing. I hope I explained that right. If I sound confusing. Okay. So it's, yeah, right. Exactly. That's why Scorpios can pierce BS. Oh, there you go. That's why. Scorpio, a water sun with a Pisces moon, forget about it. So he's very intense and he penetrates a lot of information. He doesn't know that he has those skills undeveloped, but he does. So to him, I'll be like, do you have like a little bit of psychic abilities? And he'll be like, nah, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. But it's like, well, how the hell did you know that? So it's not developed or anything like that, but he's got this like annoying probing that it's like, what the hell? Right. So so there's that, which is not fun. And the other thing too is that he's very clingy and territorial, and he can be overwhelming, as well to deal with. But what you're not aware of is that he really would like to, or at some point even wanted to, maybe even have a child with you at one point. I don't know if he has revealed that, but he did at one point feel that. So there was something more that he either fantasized or wanted, or there was something to that. And yeah. So the next thing that, but see, the thing is, what I'm trying to tell you is that you're not aware, the reading is revealing that you're not aware to the depth of how he feels. I feel you look at it in passing, because to you, he's like on this page you already flipped. He's a chapter you're done with. But to him, what is strong and felt, and the feelings and the moment and the manifesting he has had, you're not as in tune. You're not looking at it going, oh, whoa, I didn't know it was that level. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, the reading is saying. Now, the next thing that I see here is that it seems like you're going to be coming into some bit of money. Because this talks about you either, I know you said you were saving to move, but this is like when a person either gets financial help or they end up with a, maybe like a promotion, or maybe family and friends pitch in, there's a little chunk of change here, that's helpful. Right. So Scorpio men are usually not. What sign are you? Are you a Virgo? Okay. So it's going to start accumulating and you're going to have a little bit more. And also if he suspects it or finds out about it, he might be annoyed by it. So this is also something that can, you are a Virgo. I figured that. Okay. So, okay. So the way that so you're going to be making an interesting chunk of change. You know, maybe for you it's just not a lot, but it's nice. And he's going to be, right. But the thing is, he's going to suspect it. You know, one of the best things you can do is continue to do that. And I'm going to talk to you about that in 1 second. All right. The next thing that I see here is that there's something that he is hiding, and this is knowledge about you. He's taking note on how a guy that you're interested in feels about you. So he's already analyzing and probing in his own way. He has his own opinion about someone that you are interested in. Maybe he saw the guy pick you up. I don't know, but he's got a deep, studious opinion. So think of a spider on a web, kind of just sitting there, waiting for the fly. Yes, he does. And this guy might be a water sign. Are you dating a water sign? You may not know, because that's kind of weird. Like, hi, what's your sign? You know, it's like, that's not the first thing a woman asks a guy. But you never know. If you get his birthday, you could probably, you know. But anyway, yes, there's some meddling here. Now let's talk about some deep hopes. And they're very loud. This is part of the reading. I know it's kind of a weird spot, but I kind of... Okay, so stellium is an identity. So your big three is sun, moon, rising. But if someone has a stellium, it's an identity. It has enough power to be in the big three. Okay? So I talk about that in some of my astrological videos. So yeah, I've been an astrologer for over 30 years. So okay. So anyway, it talks about you having a very burning desire to tell him off, completely tell him off when you move out. So you have a lot of pent up anger. You really want to like really sock it to him. You know, you really want to say bam, bam, you know, with words. And I could see the frustration. I could see the frustration. Now, there's a woman that is coming into play into the picture. This woman has usually very interesting tastes in food. Maybe she eats a lot of fruit. Maybe she eats natural things. This woman seems motherly, but it can also be a best friend, someone who has this motherly, sisterly connection to you. They give advice. That's why they are, you know, that's why they are coming into this reading. So they're very natural in the way they are. So maybe they have a nice complexion for their age, or maybe, you know, maybe there's something peculiar about the way they eat. Maybe they make like a certain fruit recipe or something that's natural. You know, there's something, yes. Well, it's mainly a woman energy. Yes, it can. I mean, to this day, you don't, in this day and age, you don't always want to box. If I see the person, like sometimes I'll get like a specific visual of the person. And, you know, and sometimes I just get this vibe of their energy. And this time I'm seeing more like their energy. And this is what this person seemed to me. Now, it could be that a person is very, you know, it could be a man that has, you know, more feminine, I guess, habits. But then again, what is feminine, right? Because in some cultures, men knit and cook, and it's normal. So, you know, again, I would say, yes, it's feminine. I would say it's motherly, sisterly. But I would say, because instead of locking things into a gender, I'd rather express the person. This is a person that loves you very much. They are loyal. They are, they're pretty thin. It's not like they're bony, but they're not overweight, so they have a good weight to them. They have very nice skin. And like I said, I explained some of their habits. And this is a person that it gives you a lot of advice. Okay, so there's someone that's going to be in the picture to give you advice. So there's someone who, remember that not all readings are in the past. Some readings, if I don't talk about the future, then you don't know what's coming. So not everything I say already happened. Some things unfold. Some things you got to give it a little chance to unfold, because I'm headed toward the outcome of some things right now. And then we're going to check on the other two guys. So this person seems womanly to me. It seems like a motherly, sisterly. Now, if you don't have anybody in your life and you're very isolated, and you come across someone who befriends you or you work with, and they start clinging to you right away and they give you advice, that's care that you take. So if you start working somewhere and all of a sudden, you start hanging out or having lunch with a coworker, and you guys hit it off, it doesn't take a caring heart. It doesn't take long for someone to start caring. It doesn't take long for someone to, we're talking about advice. All right, so keep this in mind. It can also be someone that does love you and reaches out to you in your family that you haven't heard from in a long time. Whatever it is, there's someone coming into the reading. And this person, the reason that I'm describing them is because this person gives you some advice. And they're going to give you advice about the person that you live with and what you're going to be going through when you move. Okay, at the same time, it's anyone that expresses care, anyone that, remember, this is coming. So this is going to be someone that influences your life at the time where you start having a lot of stress with the person that you live with as you transition out of his life, as you transition out of that place of living. The next thing you have to keep in mind is not everything in a reading is in the physical form. For example, this reading is taking place in a digital space. You're not in my work studio cutting the deck like the old days where I hand you the deck and you divide the deck with your own hands. So this is a digital experience. There are people that you're talking to online romantically. That's a digital experience. You work from home, but you're dealing with humans. So there's someone that plays a role in some way coming up, like I described, where they come in at a time where you are about to leave or in the transition of leaving, because I see that there's some stress with this person, or they wouldn't come up so obsessive. They wouldn't come up so aggressive. Now, the next thing is the reading is urging you to be private. Now, you're already saying that, you work from home and all of that. That's good. And that you're very not trusting. That's good too. But the reading is urging you to be private. Even though you're already not sharing anything with the person you live with, it's urging you to stay as quiet as possible with all of your endeavors. So if you think you're being private, I could tell you, and this might make you a little bit mad, he's a little bit slicker than you are. I know you're very smart, and I get that, and I know you have a lot, women have super smarts. I know that. We definitely do. But this guy, he's a little bit more slick than you. He's a little bit more, there's a little bit of a stalker in him, but I don't mean that in a bad way to scare you. I meant just like he can be very sneaky, very stealth in his own way, okay? So be aware of that. Yeah. I mean, you're very bright when it comes to the decisions in your life, but you are not as bright as him when it comes to the male and female dynamics and how sneaky a guy could be. He's a little bit more sneaky than you, but you're really smart with life decisions, money, planning, and things like that. Where for him, he could be a lot more than what he is, and his own self-esteem holds him back. And there's a lot of things that he should have done that can make him shine, and he hasn't, and that's on him, okay? All right, now, the way this is headed is where you end up, the reading ends up positive because this means that you end up on your own 2 feet. You end up in a place that's new. So you do move, you do, the outcome of it is that you advance yourself to a new place without the person you live with, which is good. But there's going to be a really rocky, strange, brewing storm from now to that point. I do see the good already happening, but it's, I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you it's going to be a smooth ride. There's some stuff here. Now, let's look, and we have a little bit of time left. Let's look into the 2 guys that you like. So let me check on the connection with the person you loved for 10 years. Is that something you wanted me to check on? The guy of the 10 years? Or are you done with that? Because there's still some energy in there. I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that love connection is still possible. He feels it too. It is still possible. The next thing which I should also say, the person you live with, I forgot the name already. How should I say this? They disrupted something of the 10-year guy. I don't know how that played out, but that's not where this guy's eyes are. This guy's eyes are on a new guy. And 2, 1, let me see on the crush. I saw 3. 1 was a crush, or not crush, but like a love connection that's hasn't taken wings yet, but it's really, really important. Then the past guy, which I just checked on, which the connection's not dead. But hang on a minute, because with that one, I did see that there could be something there could have been something that he started and stopped with someone else, but that's like getting into a whole other thing. But yes, the important part is the connection with you is not finished. And then the other guy, that leaves 2. The one you live with, that's the one that was shadowed. And okay, so then there's the intense guy, German guy. And then there's the one that I saw. Okay, let me ask about the one in the beginning. Okay, that's also a possible thing. So there's a love connection that's going to be growing for you and someone that you're feeling the vibe. It's going well. It's not the guy you talk to every day. I don't believe so, because the guy that you, okay, let's clear this up. And I got to do it with my eyes closed so that I can see the dice reading a minute. Okay, here we go. We're going to call the one that had the shady, masked identity, the one that I was very concerned about. We're going to call him number 4, because my question was, is number 3 hiding being number 4? Like, is he pretending to be the guy you talked to? And I'm like, no, it didn't seem that way, but there was something behind that guy, like a eavesdropping. Okay, so then that really means there's 4 guys, because you're not, but it's really 3, because you don't consider number 4 to be a consideration because you can't stand him. But he is a guy interested in you, so he is part of your love energy circle. So I guess there would be 4. But we eliminated him, and we eliminated the past guy of the 10 years because I already checked on him and the connection's alive. That means there's 2 people I got to check on. And I checked on the one that was the main love in the dice reading, the one that was the main love, which is something that's going to be escalating and growing for you into a possible boyfriend, girlfriend. But it didn't seem to me that that was the phone guy, because there was one connection where there was a lot of talking or communication or texting or something, but there wasn't enough like in real life person to person. And it seems to me like if you haven't really met the guy overseas, he would be number 3. The one that I see that's escalating into something good is number 2. No, 4th is the guy you live with. Okay, there's 4 guys. Number 1 is the past guy of 10 years. Number 2 is the main love guy in the dice reading, which means that if you keep connecting with this person, it can grow to be boyfriend, girlfriend. So I don't know who this guy is. We haven't really talked about him much, but this is a love connection that you have seen each other already. You have met. So who is the guy that you've dated a couple times and it's going good, but you're not sure and you're turning your attention to the German guy? Who is guy number 2 in the reading? Are you with me, Sam? Did I lose you in my explanations? I can go over it again if you're confused. Okay. Okay, so make notes or whatever, so you could be aware. Okay, so we're going to go over this again. The reading has 3 men, but in reality, I saw a 4th that I thought to myself, either the 4th one is like pretending to be the 3rd one, but I wasn't sure what this like little weird connection was. So I'm like, are they like the same guy pretending? But I'm like, nah. And then I saw that it was very shady, but like a monitoring of that. So it kind of hides behind it. So I'm like, that's weird. So I realized when I separated them and looked at them, it's really 4. So this shady one is the guy you live with. And we already know that that's not a love interest of yours, but there's some major energy here we had to read on. Then there's 3. The other one is the guy that you loved for 10 years. He's still that connection is not dead. It's alive, but it takes, you got to really go for it. It is possible. Okay, so I do see that, but there's also something very interesting with him where he has stopped and started something with someone else. And like I said, that gets into a whole other thing. But if I had to say yay or nay to the connection, I'd say yay. I'd say yes. So that's number 3. There's 2. Now there's 2 left. And the 2 that are left, one is the guy you talk to all day, or what I mean is often. And the Scorpio Pisces looks like he's aware of it in some way. And he's eavesdropped and found out some things because it talks about him knowing some info and monitoring it. And he has his own opinions on the guy, okay? So that's that's one of the 2 that are left. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But the connection is still there if you wanted to wake it up and you worked at it. It is possible. So sometimes connections are absolutely dead, but sometimes they are possible. But at the same time, that's why I said it looks like he has started and stopped something with someone. So you would have to kind of like be friends and then like kind of wait and see where he's at with that person, and then like, yeah, probably not just like that. I think that you should have a game plan. That would be, I'm not trying to give you another reading or anything like that or tell you to get one or anything, but I think that that's such a deep story. It would be like, it needs its own space because the story with that guy is complicated. But I wouldn't say that it's completely gone and you couldn't open that up. I would say that this is a rough timing, but yes, technically I did see love energy there. Okay, now there's another person, all right? There's another person that I saw in the reading. The other person that I saw in the reading is what I want to call the main love guy in the reading. And you're like, what? I don't know who that is. Well, then you're about to meet him. So this is a guy that you meet face to face. So I don't know if you first initially meet him online and then you go on a date. That's possible. But there is a mixture of online and in real life with this guy. And this has to develop, and it's a boyfriend connection that's headed into your destiny. Okay, so he's going to show up, within a short time. So maybe a couple of months, something like that. You got to wait for this to unfold. So I see that coming into the picture. And then I see that there's another connection that it's very strong with communication, but I don't see that there's any like flesh. So maybe that's the German one, I'm not sure. And that's what I see in here. All right. So the takeaway from the reading is, number one, you have a lot of love energy connections that are possible. Number two, continue to, manifest and flourish and work on your goals. I see that you're going to accomplish a lot of your goals. Be very private, and also become aware about the Scorpio Pisces and how he feels. I'm going to be honest with you. He is in love with you. I just feel that you don't understand him. And it's not on you. I'm not, you're the one getting the reading from me, and you're the one that I'm on your side. Like, I just want you to be happy. But I just gotta say, it is, sometimes water signs and, earth signs sometimes can clash. Not always, but sometimes there's a misunderstanding. And he's not going to. It's not like that. Virgo, for the most part, gets frustrated by Scorpio. They get frustrated by it because Virgo is very, let's do it now. Like, are you gonna, yay or nay? Like, do you, I'm very cut and dry. I want the answer in front of me. I'm very clear. Let's do this. I'm goal oriented. Let's not beat around the bush. I'm straight up. And a Scorpio is more like, I'll figure it out. I'm not sure right now. I'm moody. I'm not going to talk about my feelings. That's correct. That is how they are. Their demeanor is very secretive, and to a Virgo, a Scorpio might seem lazy. To a Virgo, a Scorpio might be sneaky and they always give this vibe to a Virgo of, I'm suspicious. I'm not trustworthy. I'm a sneak. That's how they come off. And, and a Pisces comes off to a Virgo sometimes as a waste of space. You don't want to help yourself. You're the one that's wallowing in that shit. Like, you don't make any sense. Where the hell is your head in the clouds? So it's very, very frustrating to such a logical sign. Now with Taurus, it's interesting because Taurus is where you and the Scorpio were very magnetic. But what happens with Taurus and Scorpio, and this is when a mom that's a Taurus has a Scorpio child, or this could be with siblings, or this could be with lovers, any combination of Taurus and Scorpio, because they're opposite, but they're sister signs. In some ways, they bond like nothing else. And in other ways, they hate and clash at the same time. So it's extremely frustrating, where you can have this amazing love of a hobby or something you love together, this excitement that you love, and then where the hell did that connection go? Because then it's catastrophic the next day. Like, what the hell is this? So this is the roughness. Right. So in some way, shape, or form, what draws you two together was this very magical allure this very interesting bond. But then it's almost like it doesn't hold water. Was it bullshit? Was it just nothing? What is this? This is crazy. This doesn't make any sense. You know, where's the consistency and stability here? Are you kidding me? So this cynical outlook emerges from that. And you have to understand, but what does he feel about you? Yeah, you're not gonna, to him, he will frustrate you. He's mute and he acts like Lurch from the Addams Family. You know, and that's just the way it is for signs. That's sign clashing. To another sign, they could see that his eyes water and you won't see it. You could see that he's very passionate, he's very loving, and he just is very logical. He feels things that you won't even catch, but it frustrates you, and you can't. He's not the one for you because you're not going to sit there, you know, taking a crash course in how to understand your person. You know, it doesn't make sense. So unfortunately, you don't get each other. Yeah. Right, exactly. And while to you it means nothing, to him, he's accumulating the feelings. So what happens is, where he's supposed to be an expert of just, you know, being detached like the guy, since you're doing the guy job of, to you it's just whatever, you're being the guy in the situation, so he's being the woman. Because he's low key is attaching and clinging and doesn't really want you to leave, but he knows you will, so it hurts, you know? Okay, yeah, that's the last one we would find out on. Let's see. No. Let me explain. No, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you guys don't hang on, you know, click. You do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he doesn't enjoy talking to you. But you got to realize the culture over there. I don't know how much familiarity you have with European family or friends. Take it from me. Trust me. The culture over there, they're very wise in a way where the North American culture is very adapted to online existence. Like, it's just very natural. Over there, there's a cynicism to it. Like, oh, this is really fun, but she's not really coming over. Oh, this is really, really fun, but please, it's online entertainment. This is not really going to pan out. It's not realistic. So deep inside, he's not really believing in it that much. So you will see it. I know you don't like that because I know you're getting feelings for him, and the conversations are amazing, and it seems like, what? She's full of shit. I just stupid psychic online. What the hell is she talking about? You will see what I'm saying. I understand. I understand. I get it. I get it. And I know I know I'm clashing with what, you know, I know that, but you asked me and I'm being honest, and there's something that I don't see it panning out with that guy. I see that so I'm not saying stop. If you enjoy talking to him, he's serving a purpose in your life right now. He is making you happy. He is expressing, you're bonding. You are developing a relationship, and it's real. It's digital, but it's real. And if he wants to visit you, good. And that's fine. And don't let anything crush what you're feeling. Just go with it. But since you asked and you wanted to go there, I'm telling you, it's not the one. It's not going to work out with that one. Sometimes maybe knowing about the future sucks. Maybe sometimes knowing the future, you know, spoils the fun sometimes. But you asked. Right. Remember, he's serving a purpose in your life, and you're serving a purpose in his life. He's talking to, he's told people too. You know, there's this girl I'm talking to, and she's, you know, it's American, and this and that, and, you know, and it's interesting, and it's fun. he's not in love with you, because in love can happen when skin touches, you know. You know, it's I realize you're romantic, Taurus. I realize you're romantic. But I mean, I'm very logical. And when a person says love, love is when you're willing to, you know, do whatever you need to do to protect that person. Like, are we talking like really in love? Like really the real meaning of that's your other half, like for life, like in love for life? No, he's not there yet. You know, is it curiosity and lust mixed with desire and mixed with fantasy thinking and mixed with a little bit of love crush? Okay, yeah. Is it going to work? No. But it's working now, right? And it's serving its purpose now in your life. Right. That's love. The infatuation and the deep love that you had. Yes. Yes. By the way, give me, if you want me to check on who your soulmate is. I usually charge for this kind of thing, but if it'll help you, if you want, do you want me to tell you, or are you scared and you don't want to look? I can pull up your chart really quick. We're not going to go over it. I'm just going to tell you your soulmate, which has an explanation to it. The soulmate in a woman's chart is the one that it's the love that changes her. That doesn't necessarily mean the one she loves the rest of her life the most. It can. On a man's chart is the love of his life, like he'll never love again that deep. Very confusing. How do you know that a person completes the other person? That's a whole other combination. That it's when the man is in the woman's chart and the woman is in the man's chart, and this is the unbreakable bond. But one woman can be the love of two men's lives. It's very complicated. Remember that love is a billion-dollar industry, just like makeup. And they sell a bunch of things to women saying everyone has, what's that catchy phrase, twin flame? That was made by white collar criminals, which they did a documentary on Netflix not that long ago, a couple of years ago. It was this cult, man-made weirdness that they coined themselves Twin Flame Universe. And then it spread all over the net with love and obsession and all this stuff. It's soulmate is real. But to look for it properly in astrology, everybody doesn't have this like whimsical. Remember that. If a woman doesn't make it with the soulmate on her chart, it doesn't mean there's no more love. Because what I do for a living is I read love on women and their destiny. And if a woman has, let's say that her soulmate was her baby daddy and she had like 2 kids with him and they didn't work out and he left her and she was heartbroken. That's the love that changed her. Maybe that's the love that she was the most vulnerable. But I've seen time and time again women that have had that scenario find love again 2 and 3 other times in their life, super deep. And Venus and Jupiter and the moon are constantly trying to find them love. And you can see that. And I have a lot of celebrity examples and a lot of other charts that I talk about in my feed. I do like videos on this stuff. But I'm telling you, don't think that if it didn't work out, that's it. That's not true. Now with a man, it's a different love destiny. Okay, let's see. So if you want, just give me your stuff and I will, I'll pull it up and see what yours is if you want. So what do I put, like Sam or Sammy? S-A-M-M-I. What city were you born in? I have videos. There's a video that I have on my feed called Love Astrology. You might, I don't know, you might find it, you know. Yeah, okay, so city, state, and in your date of birth. Okay, so September The 15th. Oh, what a pretty date. 1993. And Westwood. Okay, and 9:40. And you said PM. Okay. Is that the exact time of birth in your birth certificate, your time of birth, or was it a time correction, or was it a guesstimate from your mom? I ask because I read for triplets and twins, some fraternal, some identical. Okay, yeah, because even they have like a different destiny, and you know the minutes apart are important. Okay, I'll tell you right now. I just got to look at a couple of sections here, and I will tell you. Your soulmate's a Virgo. So that's going to be either his sun, moon, or rising. I will describe the person. Have you ever dated a sun, moon, or rising Virgo? I will describe the person for you. Let me see. So I don't mean, like, a lot of apps are going to tell you the cookie cutter stuff. I mean, they're cute and they're entertaining and apps are fun. But they're going to just tell you like, oh, it's a person that does this and this. No, I'm going to tell you the highlight of this person. I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second. I just have to zoom in with looking at a couple of aspects here. 1 second. All right, so this is a person. Okay. So this is going to describe one of his, hopefully you haven't met him yet. That's what I'm hoping. To see if you have or not. It's easy to dismiss the guy you're living with and dismiss the guy that you're talking to, because on their chart will show their soulmate. But then if it didn't work out with their first and it didn't work out with yours, there's other things to do to see if you link again, because people have sometimes 2 and 3 links. It's hard to explain, but it's not just that's it. It's there's other connections in life that, just like a woman can have one baby and the one baby's in her chart and then is very prominent, and then later on there's another one, or you know, like it's, although with kids it's a whole other fertility readings and stuff. It's like that's a whole other branch of astrology. But I was just saying that it's very complicated. Trust me, it's a very interesting. It's kind of like finding needles in haystacks, but it's very rewarding. Okay, whereas career, you know, you got to think of it like this. In the natal chart, let's say that a person becomes the most successful in a job that they do from the time they are 40 to 65. But from their late teens, 20s, and 30s, they worked in 2 industries, made a lot of money, but that was not their ultimate destiny and career. So does it mean that those other jobs were nothing? No, it fed them and it became their backbone of experience. You have to think about that too. There's many relationships and many chances, and there's many love stories inside a chart. But there's something very karmic and very interesting with the mark of the one, you know? So, okay. So this person, first of all, is very, tends to be very rustic and very rough in the way that they do things. So instead of having something very pristine and clean, they're kind of rough with stuff. Maybe the way maybe they eat sweets and then they touch stuff and everything gets sticky. Or maybe they have dirt under their fingernails, or there's something where they're just a little bit messy, a little bit, and the way that they are with their decor and their stuff, they're kind of simple. There's people with a lot of eloquent, fancy tastes, but this one is very, kind of gives kind of like handyman cowboy vibes, So there's a great deal of, I know, but you have a long life ahead of you, and a lot of things that are going to be unfolding in your life, and maybe this is interesting. Okay, so there is a great deal of a love for like a Western country lifestyle. They're natural. I mean, maybe they live in the city and maybe they've ended up like very city-esque, but if you ask them what they love, and like, it's like someone who they absolutely love, the Western ranch, farm, country, hills, valleys, mountains. Like, they love that kind of scenery. They're drawn to that. Maybe like camping, a person that loves camping, outdoorsy type of guy. That's, So the way that they speak is very, it's interesting because in a way there's a little bit of comic cynicism, not on purpose. On purpose. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that live regular lives in areas that are desert, and they grew up in New Mexico or they grew up in other places, and you ask them, what's your dream place, and they'll say, oh my God, I've never seen the ocean. I want to live on the beach. Like it's always been my dream, or I want to go scuba diving, and they've never seen the ocean. And sometimes people keep that inside. So this is just saying that there's like this genuine love inside for that kind of stuff. Whether he's done it or not, it's just something that he's drawn to. Another thing about this person is that they're always going to see that outdoorsy nature type of living, is very freeing, and they will be slightly critical of the city life kind of thing that they will express. They are a small town type of guy as well. That doesn't mean that's where they live. That doesn't mean that's what life has been, but that means that they naturally lean towards that very well. So this also is a person, when they speak, it's very interesting how they express themselves, because they're just, with not having that many words, they just go to the very heart of the matter. It reminds me of like 50 Cent, like how he talks, like he's not a man of a lot of words, but they'll ask him something very simple and he'll just blurt out like one sentence that sums it all up, and they're like, okay, right? So that cleverness like that, well, he's got his progressed sun in Virgo right now, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, so that is very much one of the nicks of this person. All right, so there's an issue that at some point, this man is going to have a pretty big dispute a pretty big quarrel with a person that has a different origin than him. So you may meet him and you're dating, and all of a sudden he'll tell you that 3 years ago he got into a lawsuit with a co-partner, and it was horrible, and it lasted 3 years because they went, they battled over like a business or something. And he'll be like, oh my God, really? He goes, yeah, well, that was dramatic. So there's something in his life that at some point becomes a very stretched out dispute, like an issue, like it becomes a really big thing for a while in his life. It's one of his destinies. That's why I'm telling you, in particular for him, where he has an issue with a foreigner. So someone that's going to have either speaks a foreign language than him, or maybe if he's from one state, they would be from another state. And that's something that causes a very big problem in his life at some point. So this is drama that's going to be happening at some point in his life. Maybe by the time you meet him, will have lived that. And that's also possible. And it left like it's one of those dents in the life. So, for you, maybe it was when you left where your family was. Maybe for you, that's your big story. There's something very, out of all the things you've lived through, there's got to be one deep thing that kind of marked your life so far, like a big thing. Well, for him, it's that. Those are the two big things. One is going to be, why am I describing this quarrel with the foreigner that he's going to have? Why would that be on your chart? Why would that be on your chart? Because right. So for example, maybe on your soulmate's chart, that part would come up, or maybe it's going to be the pinnacle of your career. A lot of times I've seen in a man's chart, when I describe the woman, I will be describing the peak of her career. So it's different. It's different for male and female. But anyway, so why would it be that I'm describing that? Like, how weird. Why would that be in your chart? Because by the time you meet him, if this changed, if by the time you meet him, this played out, a lot of what he had to pick up the pieces from what that happened, it kind of sets the pace of what you guys are going to do. So for example, let's say he had a business for 12 years, and because he had the dispute, no, not 12 years, he's too young for that. But okay, let's say he had a business for like 3 years, and this quarrel happened with a partner. I'm just making that up. I don't know how this plays out for his life. But we're just going to use the corporate place for it. Let's say he had his own business and he co-partnered with someone, and there was like, he's foreigner, and then they had this like huge battle in court. Let's say that because the things are settling and it's going to take a few years, and you guys get married in that time, until something settles, he's not able to open a new thing on his own, and then you got to like do a couple of things, waiting for him to be able to paper-wise be able to open it up again, something like that. I knew you were going to be worried about that. I knew it. I don't really know, but I know that Virgos, I'd have to do, other charts, but Virgos, they're pretty good with making money, and he's got Virgo sun, moon, or rising. And if he's a sun, moon, or rising, Virgos make it. So don't worry about that. All Virgos, they're good. And he's always very bright. So that's why that's showing up, because if, that's going to be either something that you go through that with him to be supportive to him, or by the time you meet him, because he's gone through that, there's a delay of something that you got to wait on in his business or something like that. That's why. So those are the two big things that describe him, which is his biggest passion, his biggest desire, two of his strongest personality traits, and one thing that happens in his life. So that's the deep description. And it is a Virgo. So that does not sound like the guy you live with by any means. And it doesn't, by the energy that I felt with the German guy, that's not him either. So you haven't met him. And the 10-year guy had no Virgo placement. So it's refreshing to know you have not met the love of your life. So if you think you loved the 10-year guy and that was the love, yeah, now you just got good news. Because the absolute love of your life, you have not met him. Because if you think you love the 10-year guy, wait till you fall in love with the Virgo on your chart. All right? Okay, sweetheart. I hope that helped. And thank you. It was nice meeting you. Thank you so much, Sam. You want me to call you Sam or Sammy? Because I know on the thing it said Sam Rose. I want to get your name right because I hate when people butcher my name. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Have a good one. And happy holidays. Okay, Sam. Have a good one, sweetheart. Bye, guys. Thanks for checking out my live stream.